Ladies, gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy, Strong Style, Cinephile, and Batwoman. New episode. Well, last week's episode, let us geek about it for a scant few minutes. Now, this episode did one thing immediately correct that I'm glad that it did, and I'm hoping it's kind of a indication of things to come with how we handle certain things and certain storylines, that we're just not trying to do stupid stuff episode to episode just to manufacture drama. So immediately in this episode, Robin Givens' character comes to Wayne Industries to get to the bottom of the data breach that she had in the previous episode that she was notified about. And she gets there, she makes some threats to acting CEO, who was apparently Ryan, which we're not even going to touch on the whole lack of knowledge about how the business world works, how the judicial system works, how just technical stuff works in the real world. Because we know that the Arrowverse writers don't understand it, or it just doesn't have the mechanics of it and how it actually works doesn't jive with what they want to do in a given story. So they kind of stomp all over it. Doesn't matter. They've done that for a decade now. It is what it is. Let's just not even dwell on that. But she comes in there, makes threats, and then dips out. Before she made the threat, Sophie lets Ryan know that this woman is in fact Ryan's mother. We knew that as of last episode, but it was nice that Ryan knew that. And then by the end of the episode, after Sophie encourages Ryan to kind of figure out the answers to some of these questions, like why she gave her up, does she care, does she even think about her, et cetera, Sophie encourages Ryan to find out those answers. Ryan goes, confronts her. Last line of the episode says, "I'm your daughter." So I like that they just were hitting this just dead on, as opposed to having this woman get involved with Wayne business or Ryan business for whatever reason, having these just convoluted reasons for them to intersect, to just have these sort of will they, won't they awkward moments where we know that that's Ryan's mom, but is Ryan going to find out, or is Ryan going to actually confront her about all that kind of stuff? It's like she's going to confront her about it, but it's going a different way. I think in the Arrowverse of old, this would have been stretched out for, 5 or 6 episodes, maybe even to the mid-season finale. Like the stinger on the end of that would have been the scene that we saw in the second episode. That would have been at the end of the mid-season finale. So I like that it's we're not carrying out this secret to manufacture drama, like I said. Outside of that, you have the main plot is to find and stop Killer Croc 2.0. Apparently this disease that took hold of the original Killer Croc is a disease, a transmutable disease. And this father and son went on this fishing trip. Son caught a fish, they opened it up. Oh, there's a big shark tooth in it. Cut himself on a shark tooth, started changing and turning into Killer Croc 2.0. That's going out and hunting people. We see him kill some hormonal teenagers, trespassers. We're gonna go swimming. Kidnaps a little girl, and then races on to find the girl, because Alice tells Ryan that she has figured out kind of what's going on with Killer Croc and where to possibly find him. They go investigate. This is where they encounter the father of Killer Croc 2.0, find out the sob story, and then the father attacks Ryan and doesn't want Ryan to, hurt his son. And he uses like a taser to a cattle prod type thing to electrocute her. And then when she falls into the water in the sewer, still electrocutes her, which I thought was kind of a dick move. But, he was protecting his son. He gets actually taken off by Killer Croc 2.0. Alice goes off, finds the girl, but ends up leaving the girl because Alice just wants to get out of there. She disables her ankle bracelet using the taser and then dips out. She at first is going to go rescue the girl, because we see her earlier in the episode. She confesses that she sees herself and that she actually wants to help out because she sees herself in the girl, this girl that's lost, that people are searching for, that they will eventually give up on. And she's trying to save her, because nobody kept looking and saved her. But then in the end, being Alice, she ends up leaving the girl because she wants to escape, and tells the girl that if she wants to get out, she'll find her own way out, and that this is like a harsh life lesson that the girl will thank Alice for in the long run. And then Alice dips out. But then Alice gets stopped by Luke in his Batwing armor, and then he injects her with tracking nanite. So even if she doesn't have the bracelet, they can still find her anywhere on the Earth. With Luke, we find out that the reason why his suit is malfunctioning is because it's a failsafe put in there by his dad, who we apparently are going to have this Jarvis-like father AI thing, which I really hoped they wouldn't do, but here we are. But it was installed as a protective measure for the suit, and the suit apparently thinks that Luke is still broken. Now, even though he's physically fine from his wound, getting shot and stuff like that, mentally he might not be. Might be some PTSD, that type of thing, and that's what Mary suggests after examining him, finding out that he's fine. And then we have this moment with them, which I felt like from the first season they were going to eventually put Luke and Mary together at some point. We kind of got some obvious traction on that, and as well as just I don't want a Ryan Sophie coupling in this. I just don't, because it seems to be like the obvious thing. It's like, oh, she's into girls, they're in the same proximity, so let's put them together. I don't want that, but that's apparently the way that they're going, because a couple scenes that they had, especially early on in the episode, man, they were just laying it on, just thick, like king syrup type of thick. And it was just, I was like, God, are we doing this? Like, why? I don't care about them pairing either one of them up with anybody else. They want to bring in somebody for some love interest storylines and complications and drama with those respective relationships and stuff. That's fine. It happens in shows. You got to give the supporting cast stuff to do. That's fine. But like I said, just because they're in the same vicinity and they're both into the same, people, gender, we got to put them together. That I disagree with. But it remains to be seen what they do with it, where it goes. It's just, I'm not on board with that at this point in time. Outside of that, you have Montoya still doing Montoya things, where she's kind of orchestrating this deal with Alice to work with Team Batwoman to find the trophies and bring them back. We see the bit at the end where they recover what they think is Poison Ivy's plant, but it's not really Poison Ivy's plant. So Poison Ivy's plant is still out there doing stuff, and Montoya's like, God help us. My thing with that, because they were doing this whole thing where Montoya was like reading her, like stating the agreement, and if Alice does this, and this, she'll get sent back, yada, yada, yada. By order of the mayor's office, again, is kind of goes back to this whole jurisdictional thing and them not understanding how stuff works. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody out there correct me if I'm wrong, that the mayor could orchestrate the release of a criminal to, like, the police department for anything. I don't know. It strikes me as weird. Again, it's like I can't really let it like be a speed bump for me as far as following the narrative of what's going on, because, as I've said, they don't understand how things work. So why should I question why things are being done the way they are? The simple answer is because plot. A lot of the stuff in Titans that people would ask, why is this? Why is that? I don't understand this. I don't understand. My simple answer came to become because plot. So I'm going to apply it to Batwoman in this episode, in this storyline with Alice, because plot. Outside of that, it's a pretty decent episode. Like I said, I thought the new Killer Croc was interesting. Alice wasn't too nauseating. I liked that they just handled the Ryan mother thing just right off top, and we're just going to get right into the meat of that. Love that. Don't like the Jarvis knockoff AI. We're getting Mary and Luke together at some point in time. Don't like Sophie and Ryan, the way they ham-fisted that. Don't like it, but it is what it is. So remains to be seen kind of how things go for the rest of the season. But I'm here for it. At least I'm interested, at least in kind of how things are going. So that's a plus, isn't it? I'm not like clicking the episodes with trepidation and worry and fear about what I'm gonna have to sit through. I'm actually looking forward to some aspects of this season. So remains to be seen how it all turns out. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are, but I guess what I think. Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media. It's going to be there. It's going to be here. Until next time, let us geek.